Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the latest in deck technology. And for today's deck tech, we're going to be covering the first of many Phyrexia all-will-be-one themed decks. So we're going to be jumping into the Explorer format to make this super cool go-wide White Weenies deck. Or do we call this deck Might Weenies? Or maybe it's an all-might deck?
Boo! You stink!
Please don't click off the video. But in any case, so basically our game plan is again to go super wide with a lot of little might creature tokens and just either overwhelm our opponent with a ton of damage going to their life, or we will hit them with poison counters with their ability of Toxic to then give them 10 poison counters and win the game. As always, as you can see right here, we'll be putting up on screen right now the budget for this deck. As you can see on the side right here, we also will be running an average of about 2 mana with 22 lands, 15 enchantments, 4 artifacts, 2 sorceries, 8 instants, and 13 creatures. And I'll show you right now how you make a bunch of tokens. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's discuss what we're going to do to get to that victory. Starting with basically all of our creatures, we have Crawling Chorus, Skriv, Defector Mites, and Annex Sentry. Each of these creatures provides Toxic, whether we use the Mites themselves or with Grateful Apparition, we have Proliferate. So simple idea basically is just get some damage, get some poison counters in. We can take advantage of Grateful Apparition to hopefully do Proliferate. It is flying, so that means it is a little bit easier to get the damage through since it's evasive. Annex Sentry provides us a little bit of removal in the form of the fact that it then exiles an artifact or creature with a mana value of 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. The Charge of the Mites, technically this is being considered removal when we need to in a pinch, but we ideally want to try to go wide with the Mites. Skriv Defector Mite specifically has not only the Toxic 1 ability, but also, as you can see with Phyrexian mana or paying with white mana and tapping it, we could choose a color, and then another target creature we control gains Toxic 1, and Hexproof from that same color. And then finally, it can't be blocked by creatures of that color until this turn. So as again, most of these cards that are going to provide us all that damage will just either go wide. Another card that technically can go wide, but also can be super aggressive is Crawling Chorus. Similar to the Mites, it has Toxic 1, however, it can replace itself if it does die. As you can see, when a Crawling Chorus dies, we can get to create another 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Mite artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. Try saying all that 5 times fast. The additional part of our plan is going to be to support all of these tokens in some way, shape, or form. We have in the 1-drop slot Loran's Escape. This is just protection, gives any one of our creatures or artifacts hexproof and indestructible, and we get to scry 1 to help fix one of our draws. Bastard Solidarity synergizes with the Grateful Apparition because it puts a +1/+1 counter on each of our creatures, making them stronger and harder to deal with, but also we could proliferate those tokens if we just go off. Ossification is our removal. This card allows us to put onto one of our lands and we exile a creature or a planeswalker an opponent controls. Skrev's Hideout, specifically as I just mentioned, does create tokens for us. The biggest advantage of Skrev's Hide is, as you can see with the Corrupted ability, once that triggers off is as long as our opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures we control with Toxic have lifelink, which gives us a major advantage of getting the life we gain back after losing it by making these tokens. Birth of Meletis provides for us 2 abilities here. It allows us to get a mana out of our deck. It allows us to create a wall, but helps us kind of block because our Phyrexian Mites can't block themselves. So those walls do provide us a little bit of a buffer until we get to where we need. And the extra life gain helps out with Skrev's Hideout to buy us a little bit more time. In the 3-drop slot, we have Tocasia's Welcome. This card basically allows us to draw a card only just once each turn. However, if we time it right with the Mites, then also we can just keep drawing cards on not only our turn, but our opponent's turn as well. So this is our card draw engine. In the Trenches, gives all of our creatures +1/+1. With 6 mana, we can exile a non-land permanent until the trench leaves the battlefield. We can only activate this at sorcery speed and only once, but that's perfectly fine because the biggest thing we just want out of this card is just long-term removal, and it doesn't hurt to have a little extra pump in there. And then finally, in the 4-drop slot, Mondrak Glory Dominus. This 4 mana card basically will double all of our creature tokens. It can protect itself if we sacrifice a couple Mites by paying 3 or 1 and 2 Phyrexian mana and then giving it an indestructible counter. So this is basically on the end, so hopefully we can go super wide if we have to and just overwhelm our opponent. As for your land base, we only have 21 planes because again, this is a budget deck, and our Mirrex. The Mirrex basically will help us just generate more creature tokens. Now as far as your sideboard is concerned, we have Fragmentize just to destroy an artifact or enchantment in the early game. Soul Guide Lantern as always is our graveyard removal. Patch Up to bring back some of our Mites back to the battlefield. Michigo's Reign of Truth if we want to instead go super big because, again, we do have a lot of our mites, which are all basically artifacts. So Michigo's Reign of Truth does provide for us a much more stronger aggressive beatdown plan. Make a stand for protection against wraths. And finally, Conclave Tribunal. Mostly you bring these in, replacing the Annex entry, or to support them if we need to get rid of things that either the Annex or the Ossification cannot deal with. But otherwise, that's the deck for you in a nutshell, everyone. So of course, as always, I will ask the question, do we think these mites on a budget can get through and either poison our opponent, or can we just get the beatdown plan going? Well, there's only one way to find out. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck decks, and so much more. Okay, everybody, so here we go. We're playing our Might Be Cool deck, and let's look at our deck right now, and we've got pretty much everything we need right now. This actually looks pretty sweet, so we're going to keep this and see what happens. Okay, so let's put down our planes. Skrev begins. Okay. So we can hopefully start going off with poison counters. We have a little removal, and we have a way to get some extra lands out. So we're looking pretty good right now. It's where we want to be. Let's get Grateful Apparition, so we actually already have 3 lands. All right, resolves. They consider. We go swinging. All right, the poison begins. Fairy row. Okay, this might be interesting. We'll see how this goes off. Okay, so next, let's actually Ossification. Get rid of that Ivy. We go swinging. And we now pump them up full of... Alright, Storm Trace Drake. Loran's Escape is actually pretty nice here too. Okay, so let's see, how do we do this? How do we do this? Okay, so I think we can actually trigger off Skrev's ability here. We will actually pay... We'll pay Phyrexian on blue. Okay, so with that, we can now swing. Can't block it. And there we go. All right, Toxic, that's 4. Proliferate for 5. All right, we're halfway there, everybody. Next, let's put down Birth of Melitus. We can pull out another Plains. Plains in hand. Down. And we pass. Alright, we're looking pretty good right now. So we're already halfway with our poison. Our opponent looks like they're going to try to see if they can go up against us, but we'll hopefully be able to outrace them at this point. Consider. Alright, opponent. Venerated Rot Piece. Oh boy, so this is the hot card right now. But can we beat it? Let's see. Charge of Mites actually is pretty sweet here. We also have Mondrak. Okay, so how do we do this? We'll make some Mites, because we're going to start going wide here if our opponent's going to start doing their thing. Pay and Phyrexian. On Grateful Apparition. On blue. Now we can go swinging with it freely. Get some more counters on it. Alright, the deck's doing stuff. We gain the life immediately. So we don't have to wait a whole turn for that, which is nice. We still also have a little protection. So Skrev can still be protected against any of their shenanigans. March of Burgeoning Light. Oh boy. I've seen this combo go off, everybody, so we'll see how this works. Can we survive this? We're very close. We literally just need one turn here. But our opponent, can they beat us? Okay, so this is it, everybody. Can we go off here? Mondrak. We have our protection still. Phyrexian mana. Grateful Apparition. On blue. Well, actually, I realized, well, we can't really get through all the final damage, so we're gonna have to wait another turn here. Okay. Submits. Oh, we're almost there, everybody. We're almost there. Cameo safekeeping. A removal would be great right now. Maybe we actually should have gone with removal instead. Opponent's going to catch up to us very quickly here if we're not careful. Can we survive? I don't know. Ivar stand. Alright, they're comboing off. Alright, they're catching up pretty quick here. Slip out the back. Alright. Up to 7. But they got 4 cards. Can they beat us? Oh. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think we might have lost already here. Dang, we were so close.
Well, this stinks.
Aw. Dang it, we were so close on that one. But that's okay, everybody. You kind of saw right there. We were very close to going off, but hey, you can see the deck actually can work. Okay, everybody, so here we go. We are playing our Might Be Cool deck on a budget. So we've got right now everything we need to hopefully go off and just go wide. So let's keep this and see what happens. Okay, so planes down, Brawling Chorus. Starts with creepy. Yeesh. Okay, Renegades, Jasper, Sentinel. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be an Elves deck. So we'll be ready for that. Skrells, hide. No attacks. Unfortunately, that 2 toughness annoys us. So we're going to find a way to get around that with Annex Sentry. Okay. Land of War Elves. So yep, we're going all in on the Elves plan. We begin the Might production. Planes. Annex Sentry. Get rid of just Sparrow Sentinel. Go swinging. They obviously don't block. So here comes the poison. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to go wide and faster than Elves can. Although Elves do have an advantage of being able to just dump their whole hand, so... Beat Crown Visionary. Alright, so here come the Elves. Alright, well, this is going to be pretty scary race here. Okay, Bastry Solidarity is actually not too shabby here. So let's see. Crawling Chorus. We will... Graceful Apparition. No attacks yet. Okay, so at least with Bastry Solidarity and we have Grateful Apparition out, we can hopefully just make our board really big. But can we outrace Elves? Circle of Dream Druid. They do not. Alright, Lorenz Escape's not too shabby here. Birth of Meltus. Search for planes. Get that planes out. Bastry Solidarity. Everything's pumped. Big swing here. Will our opponent be frisky enough to block? We'll see. They do not. All right. That's what we want. Up to 5. We will submit everything. Make a wall. All right. That's how you do it, everybody. So this is exactly what you wanted out of the deck. Oh my goodness. This is so sweet. Being able to proliferate all of this is insane. We can actually beat Elves now. Dwinian's Elite. They're going to have to go really wide here if they want to stop us. Make a lot of mana with Circle of Dream Druids, but is that enough? Guess we'll see right now. Circle of Dream Druids number 2. Okay. We draw cards. We're running out of time, too. Shaman of the Pack. Oh boy. This is gonna hurt. Ouch. Even if they swing here, we still have a couple of ways of just blocking. So we're still in an okay spot. Elvish Warmaster. I would have thought they would have put that down first, but oh well. It is what it is. Down to 8. We gain some life. Birth of Melithus again. Get another planes out. Make that mana. We're going to go swinging here. We got to do a big swing. We have Lorenz Escape to protect the Annex Sentry, so we should be okay. This is the turn, everybody. Opponent blocks and blocks. And we will... Lorenz Escape here. Planes to the bottom. All right. And we got there. I mean, we didn't get the poison win, but I'll take that. Not too shabby, guys. Wow. That was pretty awesome, everybody. Okay, everybody, so here we go. We're playing our Might Be Cool deck, and oh boy, we've got a lot of action right here. Okay, so I think we're going to keep this because hopefully we could just go wide here and just start poisoning our opponent. We're going to hopefully try to beat them before they beat us. All right, so we have plenty of lands now. Crawling Chorus. So even if they fatal push us, that's actually okay, everybody. We just still get a Might. Can't block, but that's actually pretty okay with us. Oh, we got another Crawling Chorus, too. So, let's do it this way. We'll just put down all of our Crawling Choruses. They counter it. Interesting. But okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. Let us put down our next Crawling Chorus. And again, the poison begins. Can we get a poison victory here? Okay, so we have plenty of lands now to do our thing. Let us... Skrelv. Maybe not. Interesting. Okay. Let's go swinging with what we got. Consider. If they tap out here, then we will put down our Hive. Nothing. Okay, that's actually okay, though. Grateful Apparition. I'm trying to see if we can bait them out of their... Okay, Fatal Push. That's fine. That is perfectly fine, everybody. Okay, Ossification. Not really helpful right now, but that hopefully should come in handy soon. We have to wait for the Skrelv Hide for a little bit longer because I don't want our opponent to counter this. But we're getting there. We're at 6. We're looking pretty good. Our opponent's not really putting up much of a fight, but this is actually what you do want the deck to do. Opponent digging for answers. Let's see if they got something. Ritual Soot. That's actually okay. We still get 1 token out of the deal. We can rebuild here with our Hive. And Skrelv comes back. This deck is actually pretty resistant to harass and removal. Those mites just keep coming. Alright, let's see. Alright, Grateful Apparition is nice here. Let's see if we can bait out a counter. Nothing, that's fine. Fatal Push, that's okay again. Shard Typhoon, okay. They block. Gain a little bit of life. And we pass. Okay, we're still close to getting the poison win here. Our opponent is doing what they can to just keep stopping us, but those Hive... These tokens will just keep helping us get there. It is a slow deck. I will admit that. But as you can see, it is working. Oh, okay, we can Ossification this. Actually... We can actually remove this. This is awesome. Bingo, everybody. Here we go. Proliferate again. Alright, opponents got to wrap the board if they want to beat us. Oh, they did have it. Ouch. But that's fine, because they still keep coming. 9. Oh, this is perfect, everybody. So this can help us now refuel our hand. Fling the Dust. Oh, okay. Draw a card off of that. Another land. Okay, this is the turn. We draw a card. Grateful Apparition. Ooh, Mondrak too. Okay, let's see what happens. Do we get there? Did we get it? Most likely our opponent's going to have removal. Watch. Yep, and there we go. Another annoying token, but that's fine. This is actually okay, everybody, because we've also got Ossification. So that removes that token. Grateful Apparition. All right, we're still in this. Our opponent's got a ton of cards, but they still need to keep beating our tokens here, and we can keep drawing an extra card every turn. So this is actually really nice. Oh, perfect. Okay, so here's how we do this, everybody. Mondrak. And there we go, everybody. I mean, again, we didn't get the poison win. We came close, but we still got there. This was awesome. I love this deck. And there you have it, everybody. So that is our deck for you in a nutshell. And to be actually quite honest, it actually worked a lot better than I thought it was. I was actually expecting this deck to be a little bit more on the janky side, but it actually pulls off wins, and I was really happy with that. My only other final thoughts I just want to say on this deck is it definitely holds its own. It may be a little on the slow side building everything up, but the biggest advantage we have, of course, is Skrelv's Hide. This alone, if your opponent doesn't have any answers for this enchantment in the first game, or if you're playing this in best of 1, it is solid because your opponent keeps running out of options to get rid of the mites. And you saw in one of our matches, our opponent, despite their control ability, just couldn't deal with the Hive. And that's probably what makes this deck really work. The awesome synergy between Skrelv's Hide and Tokasa's Welcome helps ensure that you can make sure you get to your answers. We didn't really get a chance to see what Mondrak was able to do in the deck, but that's actually okay. I would still definitely keep a copy of this in here, just in case if you do have longer matches where you might have to grind out getting a lot more mites. Still, the only other thing I would caution you on is otherwise, just be aware that since your mites can't block, you're going to have to be a little bit more aggro than normal. But that's exactly why we wanted to use Basri Solidarity and Grateful Apparition. And you saw when it sets up, it is a very sweet option for us. Now, as far as upgrades to the deck, here's what I personally would recommend for you. First off, let's discuss your removal. So we'll be adding in March of Otherworldly Light and Fateful Absence. These cards, respectively, will also replace your Annex Sentry and your Ossifications. Otherwise, most of the other parts of the deck can stay intact as is. If you want to, you can add an Elish Norn. The only reason I put it here and I didn't actually put it in the main deck was I actually wanted to save her for a future deck tech, so stay tuned for that one. In any case, we're also going to upgrade our lands, so we'll have a Castle Ardenvale, Jano Seat of the Empire. We're going to go down to 17 planes, so we can also fit in, besides the Mirex, Karn's Bastion, and Inventor's Fair. We don't actually have artifacts in the main deck to fetch out with this, so we just want to get the free life gain just to keep our life total high as we keep building up mites. For your sideboard, we have major upgrades here. Authority of the Consuls, 2 copies of that, just to ensure that we can protect ourselves versus aggro decks. Fragmentize will stick around, of course. Unbreakable Formation can protect all of our creatures, and if we cast it on our main phase, that +1/+1 counter makes them very beefy and very hard to get rid of. Copies of Ajani's Strength of the Pride are going to be here, just also to help us gain some more life, to stabilize, and also that cat token can also buff itself up when we need to, when we gain that life. Unlicensed Hearse will replace your Soul Guide Lanterns as our main choice of removal in the graveyard. Wandering Emperor is going to be great to have some quick spot removal in a flash. But honestly, the real reason you want this is the +1 ability puts a counter on one of our mites, which can also be upgraded with Proliferate and also gives it First Strike. So sometimes we can pick off some weaker stuff while we're trying to force through damage. And then finally on the lower end, we also have a Dustodon as removal, as well as White Sun's Twilight. Technically, White Sun's Twilight is not actual removal, it just helps us make more mites. But if we get this up to 5 or more, then we can destroy all other creatures, clearing out the board and giving us a chance to get to victory. But otherwise, you tell me below, what do you think? Are you a fan of go wide strategies? Do you like the whole idea of using mites to either overwhelm your opponent or give them poison counters? Let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear from you. We definitely are going to have planned out a couple more Phyrexia all-be-1 decks. It's going to take me a little while to figure out something that we can do besides just doing poison counters like everyone else is doing. But honestly, the version that you saw today at least takes us on a path that is right now slightly different than everyone else's when they're trying to infect or basically give poison counters to each other. To be honest, I actually think this deck is actually a lot more fun than some of the other poison decks out there that are trying to either go off with a combo or just basically just trying to proliferate a ton of planeswalkers. Not that that's how any of those are bad strategies, you just know how I am. I just like to play something that's a little off the beaten path. But otherwise, if you are a fan of White Weenie decks, if you're a fan of token decks, if you just like going wide, or you just want to play something that's completely fun, I would definitely say give this deck a try, and I assure you, you will not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!